Am I the idiot for wearing noise-canceling headphones when our baby is crying? Me, male 33, and my wife, female 30, have a little baby, female 0.25, who for the most part is a chill and happy little thing who makes our world shine. But as with any baby, she cries, and sometimes a lot. I'm diagnosed autistic and as a result have some pretty severe sensory issues, particularly around sound, and particularly when I'm tired. I have noise-canceling headphones which are a godsend, so I started wearing them when I found her crying too overwhelming, particularly when I get up at night with her. To clarify, I can still hear her crying and I don't put them on so I can ignore her crying. Quite the opposite, I wear them so I can hold her without feeling overwhelmed. Also, it's just her being a baby, not a medical thing. Most of the time she's a joy. I love our 2 a.m. feeds when it feels like nobody else in the world is awake except us, enjoying the stillness and solitude. I love her so much. My wife hates it and has asked me to stop. She said that being a parent involves having to cope with the bad stuff. It's what we signed up for and that it's important not to block out her crying so I can feel what our daughter is feeling. She also said that it probably scares our daughter to see her dad with stuff on his head when she's at her most distressed. What she said makes a lot of sense, so I stopped wearing them and handled the resulting meltdowns afterwards. But when I was talking to a friend, he said that's an unreasonable demand. I'm not a bad dad and my needs with my disability matter too. Now for a few comments before the update. I think you found a wonderful solution and have a sweet attitude with your baby and dealing with the crying in the middle of the night. Why not be able to wear the headphones? There's nothing wrong with that. It's really weird to say that the baby will have problems with you having those on your head when she's distressed. The baby will not know either way. I think your wife is being unreasonable here. If you are less frazzled, it will make you a better partner to your wife also. She can wear them too if she wants to not have the full impact of the sound. Heck, I wish I thought of that when my kids were little. Comment 2, not the idiot. There's absolutely nothing wrong with wearing them. You can still hear them crying. People don't understand how overwhelming it can be. Now for the update. Thank you to everyone who replied, especially those who took it as advice on coping with crying babies. I hope it brings you some much needed relief. You're doing a brilliant job, and please remember to look after yourself. The first thing I have to address is my wife is not ableist, far from it. She's been an absolute rock for me through everything. Some examples are she suggested I get diagnosed before we were even dating, encourages me to stim and indulge my special interests. Despite wanting a big wedding, she insisted we have a private official ceremony and a party after our honeymoon with scheduled rest breaks for me. She always checks in on me in all social situations, and she even bought me the expensive noise-canceling headphones. I don't deserve her, but I'm grateful for her every single day. She's the best part of me. Perhaps because she's been nothing but supportive, I automatically believed she was right about me caring for our daughter. But in this particular case, she was in the wrong and has said so. She wasn't best pleased I'd asked strangers. I have her consent for this update, but understood why I did and had been thinking it over herself after seeing what it was doing to me. Turns out I wasn't anywhere near as good at hiding my meltdowns as I thought I was. After a lot of talking, she said she felt angry and frustrated that, in her view, I was breezing through parenthood while she feels like she's drowning. What really hit me is when she said she feels like a bad mom and a failure. My amazing wife, the best mother I could ever imagine for our daughter, the woman with seemingly boundless love and care, felt like she's failing as a mother. I wish she could see herself the way I see her just once. Part of me feels like I've failed her for not noticing how she was feeling. I think I was so caught up in my own joy that I missed her suffering. Obviously, we're not in a good place right now, but we're going to talk to the health visitor about getting her the help she needs and what's available so she can get better, but it sounds like PPD from what we've read. In the meantime, I'm going to work from home 2 to 3 days a week once my manager has sorted the insurance out so she's not alone as much. The plan was for me to take the last 20 weeks of parental leave anyway. I'm going to book a session with my therapist, and the headphones are back. For both of us. She tried them a few days ago and said how much calmer and in control she felt, and how our daughter settled so much quicker. She's probably reading this and finding out that I've ordered her a pair and they'll be here Friday. If you are reading this, I love you. Comment 1. It's utterly ridiculous that you would prioritize your own comfort and sensory issues over attending to your crying baby. Parenthood is about being present and nurturing, not tuning out with noise-canceling headphones. Your wife is right to be upset, and it's shocking that anyone would defend your selfish behavior. Your child deserves better. Grow up and take responsibility for your role as a parent. Comment 2. Wow. The headphones sound brilliant, to be used while holding a crying baby. Clever and well done. To ignore a crying baby would be awful, but you aren't. You are managing your stress quite cleverly. Now, for the next story. Am I the idiot for not moving out of my apartment so my brother can have it? I, 23, female, have an older brother, 32. I moved out of my parents' house earlier than him and found a small place for myself that is really close to my job. The place is not the biggest, it's a 1-bedroom apartment, but it is enough for one person and rent is very cheap, so I'm extremely happy with it. I put a lot of work into it and made sure it's my little happy space. Recently my brother started staying over now and then. I don't have a problem with that. He works the night shift and my place is also closer to his job than my parents' house. The problem began when he started bringing more and more of his stuff to my place. He brought his PS4, started gaming in my living room and is overall just being a terribly inconsiderate guest and treats me like our mom. I brought this up with my parents, and my dad suggested that I should let my brother live there and get myself a new apartment. He said I should look for a bigger place because my brother makes less money, and he could afford my place, and I could find something better. But I don't want a bigger apartment. I have no plans to have a family or partner where I would need anything more than one bedroom. And I put so much work into personalizing my apartment that this feels so unfair. My parents said I'd be an idiot for both, kicking my brother out now for staying over and not giving him the place. Is that true? Edit with some additional info. My brother does not pay rent to me. He used to stay here for only a couple of days, but it's been turning into weeks. Edit 2. I did contact my landlord as of today. She hasn't responded yet, but she's nice, so I hope she'll understand my situation. Also, additional info, I didn't know my parents or my dad would react like this. I thought he'd help me talk to him. We don't have a bad relationship. I am trying to figure out why he thinks my brother should have my apartment too, but my dad hasn't been responsive since that conversation. Now for a few comments before the update. Not the idiot. Please do not let your family bully you into giving up the thing you worked hard for. Your brother is a grown-ass man, 32 years old, and can definitely find another place if he needs to and can't be a considerate guest. That is your space and you need to put your foot down / have a strong backbone because clearly your parents are going to side with him once you make it clear you aren't giving him the place. Comment 2. I can't decide if your brother has always been your parents' favorite, or if they are just so desperate to get a 32-year-old man out of their house that they are willing to screw you over in the process. Either way. Not the idiot and get that parasite out of your happy place ASAP. Now for the update. I attempted to talk to my father again, but at this point I am assuming that a lot of the comments were right about them just wanting me to deal with my brother in their place. I took time off my work schedule to pack his poop together and waited for him to crash here after work again, since I still needed the key back. Looking back, probably not the best move, but I was stressed and tired. It was an awful fight, but it did end with him eventually leaving my apartment and returning my keys. The reason I didn't get the locks changed is because my landlord reminded me that this could be very expensive, and she wouldn't cover the cost for me. It's been several days and my brother has not contacted me since, nor attempted to enter my apartment. I am still considering changing the locks and might do so soon with my landlord's permission and covering the cost myself. But it seems I have my space back. The thing that really bothers me is how my relationship with my parents suddenly suffered so much from this. My initial reaction when I asked them to help me throw out my brother, and my dad responding with the apartment switch, was that they couldn't be serious. Apparently they were. My mom did talk to me this week and said since I am on good terms with my landlord I could figure something out. It's completely ridiculous and almost comically evil at this point. I told her that that's not how renting a space works. I don't even know if this is pure entitlement or ego, doesn't matter though. I decided to lower contact with them over this, until they find out what they did wrong. Regardless if they do or don't, my family are not the main characters of my life and I am done with being a doormat to them. It took some encouragement to stand up for myself and I want to thank everyone who gave it to me. Comment 1. You handled this just right. I would at least find out what changing the lock or asterisk rekeying it would cost. You can usually just change part of it, and it's fairly easy to do it yourself. It's a valuable life skill. I took my own lock from home to home for a few years. Comment 2. Thank God you stood your ground. I was rooting for you. I'm happy that you are feeling better now and I hope you will continue to thrive. Now, for the next story. Am I the idiot for not inviting my mom to my baby shower? So background: I, female 21, and 7 months pregnant. I got pregnant after my antipsychotics canceled out my birth control. It took months of therapy for me to realize the blame isn't on my son and I'm somewhat happier. My son is also my parents' first grandchild. My baby shower is in April, just 3 weeks before my due date. My aunt is planning it and is making the invitations. So far it's all 3 of my aunts, siblings, grandparents and any cousin who can make it, along with any of my friends who want to come. I asked my ex-stepmom, Dad left her for my mom 5 years ago, if she wanted to come. This woman helped my grandparents raise me and treated me like her own. I love her. She said yes. BTW. My mom, on the other hand, before she came back 5 years ago, I hadn't seen her for nearly 10 years. So I decided not to have her or my dad there because I want that date to be about my son and I without the drama. Well, my dad found out and thinks it's shitty of you to leave out your own mother when it's her first grandchild. I replied with, if y'all were actually there to raise me, I'd reconsider inviting you. But since you decided to ignore your 4 children, I'ma guess you do the same to your grandson. They haven't spoken to me since. What makes me wonder if am I the idiot is that my little sister, 15, has taken their side. I love my sister, and so her bashing me hurts. Everyone else is on my side, and so I brought it to Reddit to ask for unbiased opinions. Now for a few comments before the update. Not the idiot. She wasn't there when you needed her. Even if she was, the invitation is totally in your hands. You're not obligated to invite anyone. Comment 2. Not the idiot. Actions have consequences. If they want to be a part of your life and your child's life, they should take the L now, apologize, and work to be better. Not bash you for not inviting them when they haven't been there for you. Now for the update. First, my baby's shower went off without a hitch. My ex-stepmother ended up backing out at the last second due to her own personal problems at the time, and she convinced me to invite my parents. For the most part they behaved. Don't know if they were completely sober at the time, but my aunt and brother kept an eye on them. Second, my son was born May 16th at 9 pounds 15 ounces and 21 inches long. He's such a healthy, beautiful baby, I couldn't be prouder. For those who had a concern about my mental health, while I still struggle, I've been taking my medication, continuing therapy, and leaning on family. My mom still hasn't met her grandson. I have a strict rule stating no drugs, and you have to be completely sober around my son. They thought I was joking till I blocked them. My dad is currently 6 months sober. Mom is leaving for a sober house today. I'm proud of the first step. Lastly, I want to thank everyone in the last thread. Your energy and thoughts carried with me throughout the party, and it ended up being amazing. Comment 1. This is a great update, and congratulations on the birth of your son. Having read your original post, I do have to wonder if your parents had something to do with your ex-stepmom backing out at the last second and convincing you to invite them instead, but it sounds like it worked out regardless. Comment 2. Congratulations. I just celebrated my first child's first birthday recently, and I also have mental health issues, so I totally get that feeling of pride and abundance of love, gratitude. I'm truly so happy for you. Shout out to your aunt and brother for protecting you.